Hi, it's Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video I'm going to show you how to install the new Thermalright Assassin's Spirit 120 Vision ARGB in black. This is a great new cooler for those of you that haven't seen it already. It's got a nice little LCD display on the top there to give you readouts of system information, temperatures, all that kind of stuff, or just animations should you wish to. It's actually a very cost-effective cooler, right about £25 here in the UK. And it does look like it's substantially better than the previous version of the Assassin's. Got a little bit more thickness going on. Yeah, just a great design in general. So in today's video, I'm going to go through, show you how to install it on the AM4 platform. The principle is basically exactly the same for AM5 as well. There are some slight differences which we're going to come across in this installation from normal cooler installations. So we do have our normal 4-pin PWM connection for the fan itself, and also the 3-pin 5-volt addressable RGB. But what we do have in addition, because we do have to power the LCD screen, there's a separate lead which has a USB 2.0 connection, which goes to the header on your motherboard, and also it does require SATA power. So this goes into one of the SATA plugs coming straight off of your power supply. Now we haven't got the power supply set up on this particular instance, but this is very simple. Just plug it in as you would a SATA powered device, such as a SSD, a hard disk drive, or a controller, anything like that. Just plug it into a SATA port, no problems at all. So as we're doing this on an AM4 or AM5 platform, there's a couple of things you're going to need from the accessories box. The first of which is going to be the AM5 screws and also the spacers. These are color coded pinky red color and is marked up on the bags, as you can see, AM4/AM5. Also, we'll need the retention brackets. These are universal brackets which are used for both the Intel systems and also AMD, so we'll be needing those as well. Also, you'll need somewhere to obviously work on your motherboard. If you're using AM4, because the backplate for the standard AM4 retention mechanism will fall away when you undo the screws, I would suggest doing it on a flat surface, potentially outside of your case. If you have got the system already in a case and you're upgrading, you will want to find some way of actually holding this backplate in place. A little bit of tape or something should be absolutely fine. So with that said, let's change the camera angle and we'll get started. So to start off with, we're going to remove the retention mechanism plastic spacers here and the 4 screws. For that you'll need a cross-headed screwdriver, and just unscrew the 4 screws and remove the plastics like so. And that should leave you with something which looks very similar to this. So you'll see the backplate, the standoffs are still protruding. If you're on AM5, those are actually kind of fixed to the board so they won't pop out the way. But like I say, if you move the motherboard, those will drop out of the way, so do make sure you have those supported. Next, we're going to take our AMD fittings bag and put the 4 plastic standoffs over the top of the protrusions from the backplate, and it will look something like that. Next, we'll need our 2 AM4 or AM5 brackets and the 4 screws. Put one of your screws through the hole at the end there. It won't fall out, it is held in quite well. Take your screwdriver and then get the bracket started. Tighten the screw up a little bit. You can do it pretty much all the way. Just leave a little bit of slack there so you can move the other end. Then you can pop your other screw in and then you can tighten that one up as well. Tighten them up nice and firmly and make sure both sides are firmly attached. Now we're going to take the second one and put it around the other side. Again, get the thread done up pretty much all the way, and then you can put your screw down through on the other side and then tighten up both screws until they're completely snug. And there we go. So you should find that with where your RAM is, you should have the protruding thread next to your RAM, and on the other side the protruding thread next to your VRM heatsinks. Now we can apply some of our thermal paste. It actually comes with the Thermalright TF4 paste included. Of course you can use whatever paste you choose, entirely up to you. If you've got better paste, more than welcome to do so. No real rhyme or reason to this, just put a blob in the middle of the CPU. If you wish to, you can use a spreader or spatula to spread the paste out. Again, it's entirely up to you, your own method of installation. Next, we can grab our CPU cooler, and don't forget to remove the protective film from the heat pipes. If you wish to, you can go ahead and use some isopropyl alcohol or some kind of cleaner to remove any residue from the sticker. Generally it's absolutely fine, it feels pretty smooth to the touch. Next we're going to attach our CPU cooler. Now this cable here, which comes out of the top, you want to have that towards the top of your motherboard, so that is going to be here from me because I'm working kind of upside down. So take all of your cables from the side and pull them towards the top of your motherboard, and then what we want to do is to line up the screws on both sides of the cooler and match those up with the protruding threads coming up from the motherboard. Sometimes this is a little bit difficult to do if the motherboard is still in the case, but I'm trying to do this outside the case just so you can see clearly what is going on. So that should be pretty much resting on top now, and if you give it a little wobble, you should see this in fine. Now we can tighten up the screws. So what I would suggest doing is do a couple of reverse turns until you hear a click, so you know that the threads are lined up. So if I turn this around a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So a couple of reverse turns, and then you can hear like a little click or a noise, and then you know the threads are tightened up. So then you can do about 2 or 3 turns just to get the cooler started. Now there's no need to actually remove the fan whilst doing this because you have got absolutely excellent clearance. And again, we do the same thing here, so we're going to do a couple of reverse turns. There's the click. Then we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 just to get it started. So then it's just a matter of going through the process, doing a couple of turns each side until the screws bottom out. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Didn't do that one quite well there. 1, 2, 3. And I think that is pretty much at the end now. 1, 2. There we go. So it wasn't quite even, but it wasn't too bad at all. So just make sure those are firmly done. They'll come to a hard stop when they get to the bottom, and that is essentially your CPU cooler installed. Pretty straightforward to do. So the next thing to do is we want to hook up our connections for both the fan, the RGB, and also the USB. So this cable, which comes off of the main cooler, splits off into your SATA power and also the USB 2.0 port. This is a really long cable, so it can go behind the motherboard to keep things nice and tidy. And all you want to do is to find your 2 USB or however many USB 2.0 headers you have on your motherboard. You'll notice with these there is a pin missing at one end, and if you look at the connector, you'll see that there is one of the kind of holes which is blanked off. So that's how you know which way around it goes. So the blanked off hole is on that side there, and we've got it just there. So let's plug that into the USB header. And that is the USB part of it done. As I said earlier, we don't have our power supply connected at the moment, but it's quite clear where that goes. So SATA power, plug that into one of the SATA ports coming straight off of your PC power supply. Okay, so the next part is to connect up our PWM and ARGB connections, which come out of the side of the fan there. Again, you can cable manage these however you see fit. Look on your motherboard for the one which is marked up CPU fan or CPU fan optional. Either one of those is going to be absolutely fine. So we'll plug that into our PWM connection. There is also a pass-through cable, so you can connect up other fans should you wish to. It's probably not a great idea to do that. If you want to, you certainly can. And the next one is our addressable RGB. So this is the 3-pin 5-volt addressable RGB. On this motherboard, it's just over here, and you'll notice there is 3 pins, one of which is missing. And also if you look at the plug, you'll see that it's actually got one of the pins missing as well. So just line up the missing pin, which for us is here. These can be a little bit fiddly, but just push it into place and that is it. Again, this one also has a bypass or piggyback, so you can plug in another device should you wish to. That is effectively it. You can cable manage this to keep it tidy after it's all done. So there we go, there is our cooler installed. So that is the Assassin Spirit 120 Vision ARGB Black. I'm really excited to see how well this does. I'm actually doing a separate video on this as a kind of review video where we're testing this against Noctua's NH-U12S just to see how well it does. I think it's going to do a lot better, and certainly it's going to look a lot nicer because, well, it's not brown and beige, which, yeah, for some people isn't great. But anyway, this cooler looks great. Very good price. Hopefully this video has been useful to you for getting it set up and installed. There is also going to be a separate video as well, which is how to set up and install the Thermalright TRCC software, which actually controls this LCD panel. That's already been done on the channel, so I'll put some links in the video description for that, so you can see how that works and how to connect up. If you're still struggling, don't worry, I probably will do a separate little video on this anyway, just to kind of focus on this specific screen rather than the one that is actually on the pump heads on some Thermalright coolers. Anyway, I've rabbited on way too long. Hopefully the video's been useful to you. If it has, smash the like button. If you want to see more content like this on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting subscribe and also the chime notification. That way you'll be notified of future video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.